This is HNN.
Good evening. This is HNN. The Holotable News Network is your not even remotely close to around-the-clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reactions, reviews, theory crafting, and more source. I'm Faith34, your host, and today we're joined by my two distinguished co-hosts. First, we have Sir Georges. How you doing, SirG?
Good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Welcome back. And Celax Sarah. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing swell. Just got some more news here today, and everyone is just super happy about it. So we'll just go over all the sunshine and bubbles that everyone is feeling today over Revan. So as always, we will start the show with your HNN headline news, and today we have 6 headlines. But before we get to the Wampa in the room, which is Revan, we'll jump back just a week here and talk about Chewbacca and kind of see how you guys thought about the event and where Chewbacca fits in. He required 5 bounty hunters and could be unlocked at 5 stars, but of course no one's just happy with him at 5 stars. So how did everyone do? Sarah, what was your experience with the Chewbacca event?
It was probably the hardest legendary that I think I've done so far. Like, Thrawn was probably the hardest one before this, and this one was hard. I only got him to 5 star, not because I don't have 7-star bounty hunters, but because my Dengar was only 4 stars when the event started. Yeah, and as soon as SirG,
he's crucial.
I know. As soon as you said that in chat, I was like, "Damn it, I did." I knew it was game over. I was like, I'm gonna try anyway, and I moved mods and everything, and it was bad. But I mean, it was a fun event. It was really weird to watch the schematics behind it, but oh god, the intro,
yeah.
It's burned into my brain. But I haven't used him yet, so I don't know how I feel about him.
Is he still geared at like gear 1 type of thing, or like gear 7 you put him and he's just I think I got him
to like gear 3 or something. Like once I ran something, I was just like, okay, that's good enough for now. Mainly because I don't like chasing the squirrels. I didn't want to get too far off my goal. So I'll gear him and try him, but I got him. That's the important thing, was I did unlock him.
Nice. That was my question. So did you were happy with him at the 5 star? You're not you weren't pulling your hair out for a week trying to get him at 6, or you did do that too?
Oh, I did do that. But I mean, so for me, it was a little tricky to
come to peace with it.
I had to come to peace with it, and 2, I was going on vacation like right in the middle of the event, and I knew as soon as like I was boarding the plane, I was like, well, it's done. Like I'm not getting it now. There's 3 days left in this event, but it's done for me. So
the hatch closed, and so went your dream.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but I came to peace with it. It's fine. He's a legendary. He's going to come back around. It's not that big of a deal.
And I don't think they take too much time in between legendaries
anymore. No, I don't
anymore.
think so. I hope not.
Yeah, because I remember Rey came back sooner than we expected. And she was a journey character.
I think they did that mainly just to time her with the movie release. But
True.
Yeah, I'm hoping he comes back around. I've learned my lesson and I'm farming Dengar.
I really like the event.
Yeah, fill us in. You has a lot of people know about your journey already, but kind of talk us through your waves of emotion, because I know even reading your Discord stuff in there, it was you definitely went through your stages of denial and stuff before completion.
Yeah. I did get to record it and make a video, so that was good. But so when it first came out, it was a Thursday night, right? I don't know. I had work the next day, but I still stayed up like probably till 4 a.m. slept for about 3 hours, and then tried a little bit more. And then that's when I finally got it before work. It was bad. It wasn't planned. I shouldn't have done it.
That wouldn't work the next day.
It was awful. So I felt bad, but I felt pride and accomplishment because I finally got it. Before. Yeah. So I remember when it first came out, I was trying and didn't understand why I kept losing. And like they must have had, I don't know, 500 speed or something because they just constantly kept going. So I was so frustrated. And like Faye was mentioning in our Discord chat, I was like, I quit. There's no way I can get 7-star. And
this is like night one. It's not like you were gonna. Yeah. There's just quitting right away.
And I was like, "There's no way I can do it." I tried to think through everything, and I think part of it was because I was so sleepy. I wasn't able to think strategically about it. So after a few hours of sleep, going back to play it again, refreshed, I got it within the first few tries. So probably within 30 minutes of that second go at it, I was able to figure out some of the unique mechanics, like how Leia had her leadership in effect, but they don't tell you that beforehand.
Yeah.
So I had to change my whole gameplay strategy of don't try to do thermal detonators, because that's what I was trying to do at first. You know, maybe enough thermals, you can get them in one kill shot with Zam. But she was terrible. She didn't help at all in the event.
Yeah.
Neither did 88.
Yes. But so I did finally get him 7-star. It was really fun when I did. And then making the video, getting to hear about everybody else and their experience. It was really fun. Really glad I got to do that.
Yeah, it looked quite nice. I'm just looking now. You have like 23,000 views on that. So that's a nice video.
Yeah, it rocketed. And on Chewbacca himself, I do think he's legendary quality. He's really cool. I think that people just I haven't seen enough people using him effectively, or I want to say kind of like how Jedi Training Rey, she was good in Arena, but then when the Sith Raid came out, it was like everybody needs her because she's one of the key tunes that works well in any phase.
Yep.
I think Chewbacca's similar, and that right now, it's like, okay, he's okay, but doesn't do anything magnificent in the raids, and doesn't completely redeem Rebels and Arena, this and that. Even though he's still solid additions to all those. I think maybe we'll get a new Territory Battles map, or new bonuses for Territory Wars. I'm thinking with Territory Battles, his 20% damage that he takes just from every time he hits an enemy, he could be one of the key tunes in like some super high defense or super bulky mini wave new territory battle.
Yeah, I think there's going to be lots of different stuff like that when we just don't even see with him yet. But I've been happy with him as a character too so far. So I'm, now that everyone's kind of on the well, he's okay type of character, that I'm like, oh no, he's awesome. Whereas if everyone said he was awesome, I'd probably like temper it down just because like that. That's become my new role, because I got him to 7-star, and that was only, I got like 100 shards of Bosk in 2 days between weekly shipments and stuff I had saved up, because I was not getting him with my Boba team like you were there. There was a time or two, and I was doing I went straight to the potency thing, being like, let's load up on that and make sure that we can get him to, it just wasn't enjoyable or anything. So by the time that was like, no, we need a new tactic. So I was patient for a day or two, and then got Bosk and like got it like the second time I had Bosk. Like it wasn't even a close battle at that point. He just made all the difference for the health and regen, stuff like that. But
I'm sure
that's an idea. If people are looking for next time, Bosk is the way to go. And he's awesome in other phases. So I'm happy that he turned out well for that, and that I had saved. It took like 10,000 crystals that I had saved to get him to that, but
yeah.
So then we'll get to why that.
How are you? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's coming. That's more news ahead. But I'm still on board with it. I'm happy that I did it. I think he's awesome, and I gear 12'd him 2 Zetas right away. So I was going all in on it because I know they just only make good legendary characters. So is he going to be as good as Revan? We'll find out about that. But was it too hard? What do you think? Was the event reasonable, or was it worth all the hand wringing on the sites? And I feel like for Sir George's, it was just like the great amount for you because it was just enough to drive people to your video.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect.
I
thought it was perfect because it was hard enough that it has people talking about it, hard enough that it makes people angry. I think a majority of players should find it difficult so that they get frustrated and are scouring the interwebs and talking about it. Because that's what you want, is the community, the discussion, the, hey, I just figured this out. And, oh, well, let's see if we can figure out the next piece of the puzzle to beat this really hard new event. I don't think it was similar to the Sith Raid in that some parts of it, you're just like, well, the mechanics they built in, it's impossible to get ahead. Like, we can't land any debuffs with the Sith Raid or this and that. So I don't think it was that degree of you can't use any kind of strategy. It did require some key bounty hunters, and that can be really frustrating if you haven't farmed them in time.
Pro tip.
Cough, cough, dengue.
Yeah. But besides that, it was a good amount of difficulty that you could figure out different strategies, with a Boba lead or Bosk lead, overpower Chewbacca first, or try and stun these characters. Because they weren't like raid bosses that they're impervious to stun, impervious to this. So I thought it was a good difficulty. I thought it was fun. I hope they keep that up going forward.
I think that was their only option for if they were going to do legendaries with bounty hunters that most people already have a bunch of. They had to make it hard. And like I said, I didn't think we'd be quite that hard, but it turned out okay. And by the way, I only have, just so you know, Sarah, I only had Dengar at level 7, gear 7.
Oh, that's good to know.
At gear 7 with Bosk, you can make that happen because he is a greedy Carbalanti man. So
he's.
But he's good for other things if you want to use it for that.
I have Dengar gear 7 or gear 8. He's just, he's still 5-star right now. So he's a little useless at the moment. But
in a couple months. So
even without him, when I was trying tier 6, I would get really close. Like, I would get down to only 2 of them left. Nice. And it was just one of those things where, because I didn't have Dengar, like, as soon as R2 would stealth, I was like, okay, retreat. Like, I'm not going to do it on this round. But so it was nice to see that you could get close, but obviously if you have him, it would have been a lot easier.
So you would just retreat 6 times until he did burn basically. First and watch the thing over and over? Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know what happened or if it worked for anyone else this way. Eventually, it stopped playing the cutscene for me.
No way.
Really? No.
Yeah,
that's the first I've heard of that.
I'm not joking. It stopped playing it for me. I don't know if...
I think you just blocked that out of your memory.
Liar. No one believes you.
PTSD, erase it from your memory.
Or it was just one of those things where I knew the exact amount of time to look away from my phone for. But I swear it stopped playing it.
I feel like this would be a really interesting memory study now or something to look into. Perfect. I feel like that's a good place to end that on. We'll just keep
Yeah.
on
onto happier memories now.
that. We'll see for most. All right, so then had the legendary event, and then everyone assumes, that's kind of we'll get a couple more marquees or something along those lines. But then last week, number 2 headline was Crumb told people to kind of wait until Friday with their resources, and had mentioned a line about languages that got people all excited about C-3PO making their leaps of logic on a couple things. But then on late Friday night, so I won't lie, I refreshed the page a couple times throughout the day, just kind of seeing like, do we have any updates? No, that's lame. But Friday night, they released the cryptic puzzle that was like an Orabesh or whatever they call that, the written language on Friday night. So did either of you try working on the puzzle?
No.
I did.
Did you get anywhere?
No, I was lost. I was like jumping around chats, listening to everybody else. I'm like, okay. And then maybe with this information, I can figure something out. And no, I was like, what is Orabesh?
Well,
I mean, I know it's a language in the universe. Is it a specific one to the Knights of the Old Republic?
No, I think it's just like that's how they write basic. So that's how they write our
generic Star Wars language.
Yeah, if Jedi Ray was to write, or any Ray was just to write a letter, that's how the letters would look. I think. Could be totally wrong on that, but my understanding is.
Do you have the info on how it all worked? Like,
no, it was based on some. I read it, but I don't remember exactly how it was figured out. It wasn't anything any of us could have ever done, unless like, oh no, that's like some type of alpha cipher that is only for these types of things.
If I mean, when they announced it, it was like 3 a.m. for me on vacation, and I was scrolling through trying to figure out what was going on. And I think if I remember right, or if I understood it right at that point, it's spelled out like a tiny URL, right?
Yes. Something, yes.
Yep.
Unless I'm jumping the gun.
And something where the web address or whatever it led to, or I think there were 2 things. Like something where all those letters decoded said, like, the road ahead is known and this or that, like some kind of blurb. And then the web address bit.ly / Jedi Revan backwards.
I remember that.
Yep.
But there were 2 steps in there. There's something like 2 steps. So some little cryptic message once you translated everything into digital code, and then the Jedi Revan, which was a link to the trailer, I believe.
Which was pretty cool.
That they'd kind of buried in the forums or stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah,
and it's an unlisted YouTube video. Yeah. So only if you followed that link can you find it. That's really cool.
I thought that was a good use of that, and like it got people excited for like 2 hours, and hard enough. Like I did it for about an hour, looked at some type of ciphers and stuff. I figured, the bottom doesn't have a J in it, type of thing of all that had all the other letters, things like that. But the rest of it was certainly not in my realm of stuff. But then they came out with a trailer that came with it, and lo and behold, it was Jedi Revan. All right, and when now we found out today, but until then they had a couple words like savior, villain, and hero was like highlighted for a second, and also showed him fighting I couldn't remember the name of it, but the Terran Tadek. I remember them from the game ish, but I'd certainly had to look up the name of it. Had some of us, right at the end. That's kind of boring. So that was like, maybe it's a raid type of thing, or maybe there's some type of territory battle bad guy. I think now we're under the understanding that it's part of his hero's journey. So it kind of left us over the weekend and a couple extra days to think about what Jedi Revan was going to be and come along. And then news number 3, the Wampa in the room for today, the Jedi Revan event was officially announced, and they didn't call it a hero's journey, but their description here of it was certainly a hero's journey. And everyone loved everything about it. All right. But they just talked about how the savior of the Republic faced it down and prepare to follow the journey of Jedi Knight Revan. Importantly, this line, though, so starting October 18th, aka in 1 week from the time we post this, you will need the following characters at 7 stars to complete the event and unlock a 7-star Jedi Knight Revan. Bastila Jolie, T3, Mission Vow, and Zaalbar. So we'll start with you this time, SirG. Fill us in. What are your feelings on the Revan event and timing, and how much of a cash grab you think it is on a scale of 1 to 10? Your thoughts?
I think on a scale of 1 to 10, cash grab, I'd say probably an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
So they're definitely seeking to make some money off this. Even free-to-play people that have saved up boatload of crystals, they're still going to struggle very hard. I can say that from experience because I've been refreshing every day the nodes for the specific characters, doing all the 50s in the light side, dark side, and then doing all the 100 crystal refreshes for Cantina energy. And I'm still barely at 5-star for all the characters. So for me to get like 15 shards each a day to have it in time by the end of the event, there's no way unless I used a lot of crystals or bought some of their packs. I'm not upset with it. I kind of expected it, and like I know a lot of people are raging, but they also raged about the Chewbacca event with how hard it is and how stupid hard, so it's not fun. But it's part of their business structure, and it's part of the fun of seeing if you can be the first one to get it, or seeing if you can make it this time. I know I didn't get Thrawn the first time, didn't get Jedi Training Ray. I probably won't get this the first time, but that's the life of a free-to-play, and I'm okay with it. I'm not upset, because I know that this is how it works, and I don't think it would help them stay employed and make more content for me to play for free if I was able to get it this first time without spending any money.
Yep. That was a very reasonable response. Now, Sarah, come at him and yell why he's wrong and hate on him. Go.
Okay, so...
Okay, doesn't sound like it, but... Okay.
I'm not mad because I think, and this is going to sound very blunt, I think that anyone with 2 brain cells that you could rub together knew that this was going to happen. Like, if you did not know that this was going to happen, you seriously should probably just retire from the game because you're not paying any attention to the hints that CG has been dropping. I think I'm annoyed at the timing. And I say that because they just released this new legendary character, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they're like, hey, new hero's journey, guys, have fun. You just used all your resources to get a legendary, though, so good luck. I think that's probably my biggest gripe with it. But I'm not mad at the fact that it is a hero's journey or that it's even happening. I just wish that there was a little bit more space between the onslaught of new events and characters being thrown at us, because there are only so many squirrels a girl can chase in one day. That being said, I'm still going to try. They're all of my guys are hovering around in between like 5.5 star to my Bastila. I just 6-starred her probably 2 hours ago. So it's gonna be tricky, but I'm gonna try it. I did buy a couple of those crystal packs already.
Me too.
Which, you know what? For 699 crystals, it's a pretty decent deal considering I need all of them. So I don't really care who I get.
Yep.
And
it's cheaper than shipment.
Well, and exactly. And every single one that I bought, except for the first one, dropped 15 shards. So I'm not mad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Very
it's
nice.
definitely cheaper
so
than
it's like, if you want to give
shipments.
me 15 shards, you can keep taking my crystals. So we'll see how it goes. I'm
In response,
hopeful I'll get him, but I don't think I will.
in response to what you were saying, which is a very good argument about not liking how close this hero's journey is to the last legendary with Chewbacca.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking about it with JTR because she was the first time she came around was December, and the legendary that they released before her was BB-8, and he was dropped in September, I believe it was. So that's still, 2-3 months minimum between a legendary and a hero's journey.
Certainly.
But this is what people have been asking for.
I know.
This is the penalty they get for complaining about marquees.
I know.
CG is like, we can't change everything immediately, so we still have to come out with Jango Fett. But we can come out with Chewbacca soon in September, which they probably might have already had planned. But they're like, okay, if you're sick of marquees and you just want us to throw out the new the legendaries, and okay, I guess we'll just throw out the Jedi Revan we've been working on.
Here you go.
And so that's why we get the short time.
Yeah, they made a comment that was like similar of, well, we'll see, or we'll change our schedule a little bit for those things. And you're all those things you are exactly how I feel. Well, Siri and SirG, they're like, that was their like, oh man, people are sick of these marquees, and rightfully so, but so close on there. I swear this was how they looked at my account and said, what is the only way that we can get Faye to spend money? And it was this like method of doing it. Because it was like we had brought it before. Like, I had been since July, when July 4th or 5th, they released the Road Ahead that quarter and had the Old Republic people. Here's 5 of them. They get their own faction tag. These 5 for a legendary event, whether it's or Hero's Journey for Revan or Malik or whatever it was going to be. Didn't know that part of it, but anyone that played this game knew they were coming doing it. So I like saved 30K in crystals and Bastila and Jolie. We got up there right away with shipments and stuff like that, and was still sitting on like 20K when I needed to get the stuff for Chewbacca. And then that was when like, well, now do you go after Chewbacca, or do you stay in the course on trying to free to play whatever they come out with Revan? It's like, no, you still got time with Revan. You can go into Chewbacca, which I probably would have done anyway, because that's like the bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush type of thing, and I'm glad I did it. But that was it. I mean, now I'm down to very minimal amount, and but should be close enough that maybe if I buy one of those packs or 2, I can make that work and actually spend some money on the year. But we'll see. Like I said, that was the only, even another week or 2, I could have freed to play them both, but that was they put it too tight. That was the only thing. Like, oh man, I couldn't have done like another week or 2 to get those in there. But I get it. Like I said, I swear to God, it's like they looked at my account and said, how will he spend money without feeling gypped? Like I'm close enough that extra 100, whatever, we'll get into those shards here in a second, is going to get you there. And so you're not so far away that you don't do anything, but close enough to. So we'll see.
If we hadn't complained, then maybe we would have had more time.
I hear you. We as
Yep.
the collective whole.
Yeah.
If only.
But no, yeah, that's for those of you that don't frequent the interwebs about this game, that not happy customers about that. But exactly what Sarah said. This was coming from a mile away and has been the whole time, and it's just not anything to get upset about. And I totally get it. Was I running the game? Would I have waited a couple weeks? Probably, but I don't. When they're looking at the bottom line and their paychecks, they're like, nope, this is the week to do it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game, and you're gonna do. If you want to pay to get them, you can pay to get them, and if you want to wait for them to come around round 2, you know who you need, you know what you need, and you can prepare for it for round 2. No one is holding a gun to your head and telling you have to get them this round. Like, you do or you don't, basically. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be on the forums, but I can sympathize a little bit, marginally, given the timing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I do get the frustration because if you're like, for the next 4 months, you're running into and you lose half your battles in the arena or something like that, that like over time eats away at your soul until it's smaller and smaller. So like, I get being frustrated on not so much that you're not getting them, but that it'll make more work for you every day and just hang over your head and regret it throughout there. So yeah, but either way, I think that's a part of what we enjoy about this game, and podcasts about it too, is that type of frustration from time to time. But to go along with that, so like you guys had mentioned, they did some packs. Now this I did appreciate, though, that they split up the packs instead of having them all be one big scoundrel pack like they did, where they put all 6 of those together. Like Bastila and Bindo are their own, Mission and Zaalbar are their own, then T3 has his own, and they're $30 for the 2-for-1s and $15 for T3, and you get 50 shards of each. So for me, for example, Bastila and Bindo are going to be done. I won't need any of their shards. So I was worried that I would have to be like a $80 one where you buy all of them and just get shard. So that was at least better than I thought it would be. Really looking for a silver lining on that. But, those are solid amounts, because you get what for the T3 if you bought the regular pack. Those are $30 for $10. So this is $50 for 15. So I mean, that's better than just those $10 packs of like per shard amount. And those started today, so people can go out and buy those. Obviously, my recommendation would be like wait until you're close and kind of see how much you need, so you don't either one waste it because you won't get there, or two wasted because you didn't need it. And then the event starts on the 18th, so next week will be Revan time, and even if you don't have 7-star, you can at least play the event up to 5-star. Any guesses on what Revan's going to be? SirG, what do you think?
Well, going back to the packs you were just talking about.
Yeah, please.
Yes. If you are like me in that you don't have a love for the Jedi, and so you haven't already 7-starred them like Faye, if all your Old Republic are, say, 5-star or whatever, or any under 7-star, I would suggest, if you've been saving crystals, to get that faction pack. Because for 700, to get at least 10, that's cheaper than getting a character from shipments, which with all the 5 different farms, like for me, I was going to have to get most of the characters, at least a few shipments on them, in order to have it by the end of the event. So today I decided I'd go ahead and get a few of these. And if you look at the pack probabilities, over half the time, you should get 12 or 15. With 10% chance of getting 20 and something like 11% to get just 10. Well, I did it today. I had 10k crystals saved up. And my plan here was that since all of them are understarred, I'll go ahead and use most of my saved crystals on the faction pack. And then I'll know how close some of them are just because RNG, you get some more than others. So then I'll finish those off quickly. And then each day, just focus on refreshing the node for whichever ones I have left. So I got some good drops. They were mostly 12 or 15, like Sarah had in her experience. I did get a lot of 10 packs of T3, which I didn't like, because he's the easiest to farm.
That's the worst one, yeah.
yeah. But so I spent 7,000 crystals, and I want to say I got a 25 Jolie Bindo one.
Nice.
I got a few 15 of Zaalbar and Bastilla. So I have now, for my Old Republic, after spending 70k, because they were all like just at 5-star. Except Jolie was at 25 out of 85 for the 6-star. I think I ended up with 60 more Jolie. So now he's at 6-star at the start of that 100.
I would want her.
I got 0 mission, which was frustrating. Because she's probably the hardest. Yes. And then my Zaalbar, who is only at 4-star and like 20 away from 5-star. He's now at 5-star. He's still going to have to be shipments probably. But Bastilla's further along. I spent 7k crystals. I'm happy with the gains I got. Now, buying from the pack, that should only supplement what your daily farming is going to be. Because you're still going to get the best odds and the best crystal cost per shard from farming the node, refreshing it, and buying new energy to refresh it. Even if you got to where you refreshed it twice, the node, and we're spending 100 crystals, it's still most of the time going to be less than $70 per shard. But that said, if you've got a large stockpile and you know you're not going to get there in time, you should buy some of these packs. I still had 3,000 crystals left, and I decided to do just one more, like an hour later when I got off of doing this other thing. And I got an 80
away at you.
Yes, it was. Because I'm like, I have 3,000. I still can do my daily stuff. And the next pack I opened was an 80 for T3.
Nice.
It was still T3, but still 80.
That's
So yeah, my fantastic. T3 is only 15 shards away from 7-star now. So now that I did that ahead of time, for the next 2 weeks, my cantina will just be focusing on mission. So if you're going to have to get some of those packs or shipments, I suggest if you've got a crystal cache stored, use those now to let you know how close you are on some of your characters.
Because if I save those,
because if I hadn't done that today, say I did it 2 weeks from now, right before it was over, my droid T3 probably would have been done already. So I just wasted that 80 pack that I got for him. Okay, that's my spiel. Sure. That's my PSA.
I like it. No, that was good. That's exactly what I think they were for, and a nice way for you to get them as long as they're not giving you 10 every time, and we know what the probabilities are. So
yeah,
just see if you can pull an 80 like SirG all the time.
Yeah. And guesses for Revan's kit, I don't have any because I still haven't played KOTOR, unfortunately. So I really don't know enough. I know enough to be excited, but I don't know enough about the character to guess on what his attacks and abilities would be. I am glad that it's just Jedi Revan. So we know that it's not going to be whatever the dark side, whatever the possibilities if you chose the dark side path for Darth Revan. We know the attacks aren't going to be for that. He's not going to have any kind of flip flop like I thought they might do, like change his stance maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No,
So-
he is just straight up light side.
Yep. Which means we can also look forward to a Darth Revan at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm. I was actually thinking that maybe they would do Jedi Revan as another legendary, and then you would need Jedi Revan to do
Yes.
a villain's downfall journey.
Yes.
For a Darth, but they did not.
They still could. They still could.
They still could. Yeah, you're right. Use a hero to become the villain.
Yeah. I don't see why they can't do that still, but that would be, they'd have to wait till at least, they don't have to, but until the second time it comes around before.
Mm-hmm.
Who would they make the characters for a Darth Revan? Like the required characters. Who would they make those be?
That's on you, Faye. I don't know enough about Coda.
Yeah, I haven't played for a long time. I assume it would be either you're using the same ones to fight against it, like I think maybe several of them, because you could still use Bastila, or how you used in the CLS one, where you can use just a couple in each stage, and then they have all those dark side. They have Marauder and Assassin and Strooper, let alone the Triumvirate as well. So all of those could play a role in it. They could add Malik too, but I think having a specific light side Jedi Knight Revan means Darth Revan is also coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Combined. But that will probably be a ways down the road, or it could be in 2 weeks. We don't quite
Surprise!
know.
Well, okay, since you've played the game, even though it's been a while, are there enough characters left for them to like mine that piece of the universe to bring into the game?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's Karth, and there's a couple of ships like the Ebon Hawk, and there's certainly more characters in there. Ones that go on the journeys with you, and ones that you fight against. So they're not lacking on those ones at all. I mean, I think they have a lot of the main ones now. They could also add HK to that too.
True, but that wouldn't make the money.
He's already
right. I'll take that back. But
it's got to be new characters. Right?
Yeah, they've. I think they've gone above and beyond for people that like KOTOR in this game.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
And could still add more ones that are in there. But they're great games. It's been a long time. Number 4, they posted like a little making of Revan design thing, which I think would have been like a cool little post for people to read, but they were just too fuming about the other stuff to notice. So check that out. They just talk about why they make his design and why they put him as like the hooded and have the mask Revan, which I think was the best idea because, you design his face so it looks different for everyone, or, has the scars or doesn't, etc. So having him have the mask, make sure that he all looks the same. You don't have what you don't remember him for. And then they did, number 5, have an update for today that has just a lot of info to go over. Just kidding. Is this the smallest content update they've ever had? So they had those packs and bundles, which we talked about, and then the Sith fighter is now on Fleet Hard 3E, which is good, and I would like to farm someday, but it's probably like 9th on the list and ship things.
Yeah.
First, you gotta do either Jolie, or you can do Zaalbar, and then you can go back to Enfys Nest, and then maybe you need to go to Sith Fighter, and by the time you're done with those, there's going to be Hound's Tooth, so that's obviously going to be
Lando and the Millennium Falcon from Solo.
So there's I would like Sith Fighter, but that is not happening anytime soon. But that was one thing, and then the other thing was that they changed the raid, so you can't just solo it by having Darth Nihilus copy zombies negative speed and just never goes again. So that one we knew was coming. And that's it. That's the whole update. Not just letting us soak in with the Revan news, and we were hoping they'd tell us today because they knew we were gonna record this today. I mean, that was just kind of Jewish of them not give us the kit. That's what we're really good at going over. To put those on there. And then last but not least, calendar. Got a Dark Side territory battles going on right now. BB-8 and JTR are back tomorrow for people that don't have it, and the Mythic on the 13th and 14th. And then this time next week, we'll be trying to get Revan. Oh, and then let alone, even if you get them start up, what the gear level is going to be for that to get him. I assume it's going to be like the other ones, 8 or 9, and you're good to go, but possibly not. We'll see. We'll know how those fit in there. Anything else to add to the news calendar? What do you think?
I think Chewbacca was only so difficult because it was a old faction that people, like many have had, most of them 7-star for a while. They might not have invested gear into them. So the only way for them to make it discussion worthy or spend money to get your characters ready was to have them geared up enough, or just to get Bosk. But that's just one character that has been farmable for a while. Not as quick a farm as the tunes for Revan. So considering the short time in between, I don't think it'll be as hard. I think Chewbacca was a special case just because it was an old faction.
That's a good point.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't think that's the new standard of how hard the events are going to be. I think just what you were saying, it was we can give this to you with these guys, but we got to make this harder if we already have all the characters at 7. So one of the two got them. All right, well, that'll bring us to our I Love You, I Know segment. I know it's easy to get jaded by this game, especially when they have events coming out back to back, but there's a reason why we're still playing it after almost 3 years now. So, so I'd like to talk about the things that we enjoyed over the past week or two with Galaxy of Heroes. So, Sarah, how about you? What have you been enjoying?
We are still doing really well in Territory Wars, which is awesome to see. The last 2 that we just had, the guilds we faced, one were in between 10 to 15 million GP higher than us. And they could not get through our front walls at all.
Oh, okay. But not even the front, huh?
Not even the front. And I was just like, it's one of those, I don't know, it was just one of those weird things where I didn't want to say anything because I felt like it was a moment where the clouds parted and the sun shone down, because first you saw the GP of the guild you were matched with, and then you're like, oh, they only have 2 Treya, so we're okay. But it was nice to see. It's always a good morale boost when you can go in and just, I don't want to say only have fun with Territory War, but it doesn't feel as high pressured and that kind of a situation. So yeah, that's been good. And then secondly,
can you tell us what your front walls were in the Territory War?
Treya. We split them, so we have about 21 in our guild now. So nice. we were splitting them so that not all of them were in the front, but we put a good chunk of them up front in both nodes, and then filled the rest of the slots with, Palps or CLS or whichever meta strong teams, at least, that you can't just steamroll over,
right,
and get to. So that was good. It makes me a little sad though, because I was kind of hoping I would get to see how my Scoundrel team did on defense this time. But they didn't see the light of day, so that's okay.
Next time.
And you, SirG, what are you liking?
I liked the Chewbacca event. That was fun. Eventually. It was fun.
Not at 4.
It was fun. It was fun checking Reddit and the comments of people and stuff. So that was cool. That was fun. And for the first time watching it, the cutscenes were cool, and I was impressed.
After 3 hours at 4 a.m., though, not so impressive.
I don't know why they.
So that was fun.
For you.
Yes, I know. Like, kind of like how if you've already in one of the raids, like if you've already done a battle in it, how the next time you go in, it doesn't let you see do that.
Yeah.
Make it where if you've already tried once and failed and gone to do you need to buff up your characters? When you see that, let the cutscene go away and die.
Yeah.
But so
I think they learned that this time, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Think for the next one that they cut it out, but maybe not.
So that was fun, and I've enjoyed playing with characters that I don't normally play with. And so in Territory War, just because that's one of the best experimenting grounds, it was fun getting to try out some new teams against new team matchups. And now that I've been building up my Old Republic characters, getting to see how they work. And also the prepared people from Solo. Because they've had a couple events lately, like what's I think now rotating.
Oh,
the thing we just had where you have to use smugglers.
The smugglers
that's
run.
the one.
Yes, that was cool. That one, because most of those characters I've never played with. I have no idea how they synergize. So it was really cool to get to test out the prepared and get to see how Kira is awesome. So that was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, mine's very similar to yours, and that was just unlocking Chewy. And like I said, I've taken it upon myself with no one asking me to, and just forcing everyone to listen to me, like trying him out in arena and telling people what I think he works out well with. See, right? So I don't care if you're sick of me. I'm going to keep doing it. But he works well on lots of teams. Is the answer to it. So I run him the most with the Rebel team, just because it's the fastest for sure. With CLS and R2, and then Han and Chewy, and then that fifth slot can be lots of things. It can be I typically do Scarif Rebel Pathfinder because I put 500 Carbantes into him a long time ago. So darn it, he's going to get used. But he gives you some extra turn meter and can taunt sometimes, but mainly it's just that turn meter and give someone to R2 to smoke screen so he can take a fracture isolate. And or you can put L3 in there. She works awesome because she can taunt and heal the scoundrels when she gets hit. You can use Chewy in a Bastila team. Does great. Just take out Ezra and put in Chewy, and they mow over, especially Palpatine teams, but can certainly win against
who gets the
Traya
guard
teams as well.
Who gets the guard in that team?
Bastila. Oh, no. Sorry. The whole reason it works is because Grandmaster Yoda does.
Oh, dang,
so
yeah.
He hits his AoE, Chewy attacks. He uses the share his buff thing, Chewy attacks. He uses his special, Chewy attacks. That's Chewy just goes over and over and over and over. And then since you have Hermit Yoda on your team too, it's not as bad against Traya because it takes away 35% health whenever you assist, which is all the freaking time. So. But it works out awesome on offense. That doesn't hold as well in defense. That gets mowed over on defense, I think. I left it in one night thinking, like, I think this will be okay. And I woke up at like 40th, and I'm normally like 10th or something. So, although the Rebel team does hold pretty well. You can also put Chewie and Han with the Triumvirate. That also, all these win on offense. So it's just fun to try some new things. I will say don't use CLS teams against a Bastila team, even with Chewie. Like, they just have too much protection and they mow you down.
Yeah.
So if people are looking for them, they do really well against Sith. Chewie is made to do that and does awesome. So That's interesting.
Yeah,
All right,
the guard
the
mechanic.
next segment. Oh yeah, no. Continue.
The guard mechanic is probably the coolest thing about Chewbacca. How it can go on any
for sure.
whoever your weakest tune is. So there's so many possibilities that we haven't figured out yet. Like just finding these few tunes that once you get guard on them, it just unleashes a fury. Like you were talking about with Grandmaster Yoda, a character that is constantly going, him constantly getting assists that take out health. That's super exciting.
Yep, it works on. Sorry, I even used it on a JTR team, and it gives it to my team. It gave it to BB-8, so he can't get stunned or dazed. So I was able to beat a Traya team with the JTR and BB-8 and R2, and then Han and Chewy in the back. So that's another one. Just because BB-8's always going, so when you use his, Chewy attacks too. So those are all just kind of just like you had mentioned. It's like I'm trying to think of a good IG-88 team because I love him, but he gets crushed in 2 seconds. So having him not being able to get hit hard, no daze, no stun is also a very nice addition.
That's a good idea.
I'll figure it out. We'll see.
You'll test it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm the self-appointed tester of Chewy that no one asked for.
I like it.
So that brings us to our That's No Moon segment, where we talk about another big topic that we want to either get off our chest or really dive into in the game. And SirG, in particular, wanted to talk about some ships and how much you're loving everything about it, right? Take it away.
No.
I got that wrong.
So that's No Moon, and my ships are really frustrated because I don't like the way that ships has headed with the new changes. Making it so that it's just 3 at start out, that's okay. But because they have the delayed reinforcements, you can only do it every 2 turns. It really gives an unfair advantage to the faster ships. So Thrawn, being slow compared to Tarkin or Akbar, has become less legendary. And now I'll choose Tarkin just because I get my reinforcement out first. And if you get your Vader out first to put offense down on the other team, it changes the entire match. You don't have mods for ships, which is good and bad, because if somebody has invested 2 Zetas that are useless on Tarkin, just so that he outspeeds your ships, just that 1 point of speed makes it so that the exact same mirror match, their Tarkin wins because they kill you, get that turn meter, and they're off, and it just snowballs. And it's really frustrating. I also don't like Houndstooth now that we've had more time to experience the terrible effect he's had on the arena, because that is not free-to-play friendly at all. Like, I've been trying very hard to come up with a good counter. And like even in Territory Wars, if somebody's got a 7-star Houndstooth, unless you're using Geonosians against him, which means you can't put them on your defense, you're going to not be able to wipe out a Houndstooth.
Even with Geonosians sometimes.
Right,
if you don't
right. Like, do you remember, Faye, we were fighting somebody in this last Territory War, and it got to where there was just a 7-star Houndstooth left.
That was it?
And that was it. But we racked up with a Thrawn lead because Thrawn was able to heal the Houndstooth over and over. We racked up, I think, 14 losses against it, 10 of which were probably just against that one Houndstooth. Just because you couldn't do anything.
And I can tell you what had to take it down because I did. Because I used a middle team first. And then I had to, it was the last one in that, for people. It was the last one in that segment. So it's like, we have to get this down. So I had to use like a legitimate full team. Not maybe like my A team because I was on defense, but a solid B team of, it was all Geonosians. I mean, it was because that to finally like take down the one, because just so you mentioned, You get him down, he'd get healed, and then any buffs you put on him, he cleanses either from his own shot or by Tarkin having him assist. So I had it all set up the first time. Target lock, buff immunity. He's not going to go again. Damn it, Thrawn hit him with the assist. He hits you. He takes away all of his things. And then it was just like a 4-minute battle of nothingness until Thrawn took him off one by one. Anyway, so yes, Houndstooth, there has never been, since I've played the game 5 months in or whatever, a more pay-to-play arena person, ships or that, than Houndstooth.
Yep.
In my opinion. Like, it totally makes it difficult. And as you said, we went in that last territory war was against a very good team, and we were pretty even on the arena, but they had...
Yeah, the character battles.
Yeah. Yep. They had 20 more 7-star Houndstooth than we did, and we lost on ships because of it. So they're giving the people that pay money their money's worth with Houndstooth.
Yes, the gap is too big, though. Yeah, because the other thing that really bugs me with how ships work, it is not the same. So when you get a new character, if you decide not to 7-star them, you're missing out on armor, health, protection, or armor and health. You can still gear them to 11 and still have really good protection. So you can still make a 3-star Bastilla usable. It's so much different with ships, though, because it amps up the crew contribution to the ship by having it a higher star. So a 3-star Houndstooth is not just less healthy, but less protection, less speed. And that's the main thing that really bothers me with the way ships are structured, and that a 3-star Houndstooth is much slower than a 7-star. And so you cannot, in a mirror match with a inferior star level ship, beat, or you can't do a real mirror match because you are much slower than them just because you aren't having the stars. So it's different than characters.
I think you're also underselling some of the, especially Houndstooth, his potency and tenacity.
Yes,
goes
tenacity.
Up a ton. His tenacity kicks me in the nuts sometimes. I just like, how did you like both of those stuns, and then it's just like game over.
That's a good point.
Anyway, that's just some whining.
Yes,
because we don't have it.
But that's a good point, because with Houndstooth, when he's not taunting, he's got plus 50% tenacity. You cannot add potency to your ships. So you cannot overcome that 80% tenacity, so that even trying to put a buff immunity on him to keep him from getting that continuously gaining more and more protection, you can't land the buff immunity. It's really frustrating. And then the last complaint to piggyback off that is that for some reason, even though you get less crystals in ship arena than you do character arena, even though ships have less uses in the game, for some reason they feel like they should get a premium price tag when it comes to shipments, when it comes to drops in their new ship nodes. Like, why are they so expensive in energy? Why does the energy refresh so slowly? Like Faye was mentioning the Sith Fighter. I could care less about the Sith Fighter just because it's on a 20 energy node and I've got to farm it for months and months instead of focusing on Nest or any of the other needed characters like the ones for the Old Republic. I'm going to invest it on that ship where refreshes cost 100 and each node, or the energy to do one battle, is 20. It just really, with all their efforts to make people energized about ships again and caring about ships again, some of these decisions are making it so that you really don't see why it's as worthwhile as characters.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, the fleet battle stuff is spot on for me. That they have the refreshes. They have all the worst combinations of the other things as far as how much they cost, how slow they refresh, and where they think they're going to go with them. So, yep, I think you nailed it for some of the ship stuff on there. Sarah, I don't you have ship qualms, or we're just a bunch of old men whining? Get off our lawn.
No, I definitely agree. Ships for me is still one of those areas where, particularly in arena for ships, I don't like playing it, and it's exactly what you were saying, SirG, where you can go up against the mirror match and they have just 1 point extra of speed on you, and it's downhill. And so I don't play it often. I think I only do probably 2 arena battles a day in ships, just so that I don't fall too far down, and I can hover where I'm comfortable hovering. The table, I definitely think that the energy needs to be reworked, because you've got, what is it, 5 tiers?
Yes.
Yeah. And
So.
they're all, except for the first one, they're all 20 energy.
Yeah.
So, like, what's even the difference here? Why do we have the tiers? Because I look at the tiers as like a little divider of like, okay, these ones are going to be 8 energy, and these ones are 10, and this is like in Cantina or light side, dark side, anywhere, and there's just no divide. So I don't.
Just the one, yeah. Just one is 16.
Just the one. It's like, here's your little taster, your little sample, and it's almost like not to go back to the Chewy event, but when I did first do the legendary event, I woke up and I was all groggy eyed, and I opened the game and it's like, I'm gonna get me a Chewy today, and you hit auto on the first few tiers and you're like, this isn't that bad, and you're on tier 4 and you're like, yeah, this is fine, and then tier 5 hits and you're like, oh my god, what's happening? And it's the same idea where you go into ships and it's not that bad on the first tier, and then it's downhill from there. So I feel like maybe they just don't know what they're doing yet with ships, and they're still kind of testing everything.
And that's the shame. That's what is sad, because like that's the perfect example. A player that isn't engaged with ships.
Yeah, I have no care for ships.
Yeah, which a lot of people didn't before the reworks and the changes, the mass rework of all the ships. Well, some of these things that they're adding, they aren't incentivizing players that didn't care before to now care.
No. And like the new ships are cool, but I'm not going to pay money to get them every time they come out. So,
and there's still only one that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get IG ship and you can use Cad Banes, but they're worthless unless you have Houndstooth. Like he's the crux to this being a something to take a look at. But if you put in your $300 for Houndstooth, this is your getting your money's worth in the game relative to other things. You're not getting your money's worth,
right?
In general, but in this game.
But see, why the premium price tag?
Yeah,
because I think even when you were buying Houndstooth, you're spending more per shard for Houndstooth shards than you are a normal character.
Well, and you had to buy, I mean, the people that are to whale out on him probably already whaled out on boss, so they had to buy that one pack that has both of them in it.
Right.
And then buying the shipments. The shipments, like not the shipments, but like the original packs where you buy like the $12.99, those are the same as characters, right? Or are those different?
12 packs for the
look.
ship.
Yeah, yep, those are the same. The $12.99 where you get the 5 to 330.
I want to say they cost
those
more.
are the only thing.
I want to say they cost more.
IG 2000s is $12.99 in the game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
And isn't a character one $9.99 normally?
Oh no, I think those are $12.99 too. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think characters are $9.99.
Jango's is $12.99 as well.
Okay, never mind.
So they're both in the game right now. So that's the only place. That's the only place where they are the same.
Right. For those that whale out. But once it hits the cantina, yeah, you're still going to have ages. It's just frustrating because I like ships, but I'm not going to be able to use any of these new ships until they're 7-star. Because a 5-star isn't anywhere close in power to a 7-star.
It does. I'm glad we got to this. That's no moon for you.
Yes, thank you.
Get it out there and let it be known. Do you have a lot on your arena shard, 7-star? Hound's Teeth.
I don't know if they're all 7-star because some they'll use him as a reinforcement, but as somebody that so mine is 3-star, and I don't feel like I can even use mine as a reinforcement because since I don't have any Zetas on my Tarkin, because I'm not ready to waste those yet, because the enemy
I wouldn't.
Because the enemy, they get to do their attacks first. Their Geonosians wipe out my Houndstooth before I get to do anything. So I haven't been using him in my lineup or as a reinforcement, just because at 3 stars, all he takes is one Geonosian spy.
Triple hit. Yep.
Yeah, and he's gone. So it's just real frustrating. I've wanted to throw my phone multiple times.
Oh.
The last 2 weeks have been really bad.
Nice case. All right, so we'll on that positive note, let's check out the rank and file segment and see the movers and the shakers in the meta and what to expect next in the game. I think the big thing for us to look for this week is how well Chewbacca's doing, and he's making some headway, we'll say, a decent amount. So Darth Treya is at 58%, which is down from the 60s last week, and Palpatine is at 21, which I think is around the same. But Luke Skywalker has gone up to 11% and was about 1 or 2 before. So that's obviously the biggest jump. And Bastila went down. She was 10, I believe, and now she's at 7. So certainly some people are using Chewbacca. And when we take a look at the character meta, I believe he is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He is 8th place right now at 12%. So him and Han are at 12%. And then you have all the normal people from before, Nihilus, Scion, Treya, Thrawn, etc., and so forth. But importantly, too, Darth Nihilus was at 90% last week, and now is at 81%. So it's some movement. I mean, that's a solid from the time we looked at it last time until now. 10% is a nice change. So he's certainly making some noise, and I think that'll only go up as people use them. Or like I said, it's not. Treya's still probably a better overall team, but Chewbacca is certainly more fun for me anyway, especially after 6 months of Treya. So I think more and more people will use that, or they unlocked him but don't have him geared, those types of things. So once he gets up, he should even more special things, and who knows about who's going to find like another team that may or may not totally win.
Jedi Revan.
He could.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's what I was just gonna. Yep. That's gonna. I hope they work together. I feel like that'd be fun, even though not.
I'm sure they will.
It's just like Revan just leads all the Chewbaccas in Zaalbar. A Wookiee onslaught from Jedi Revan. Yeah. Let's see what his most popular team probably is. with Thrawn in it. Huh? I haven't used Thrawn in it. So CLS and Chewbacca, Thrawn, Solo, and R2D2 are at 3% of the teams overall. Nest is in with him, L3, Old Ben, GK. So he's got a nice mix of different ones. And 14% of people are using him with, or 14%, 0%, but 14 people period have him number one with that Bastila team that I had mentioned before that I've run a couple of times. So he's coming along. Hopefully he continues to make a little room there. And then last but not least, let's head to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm to talk about who and what we're currently farming in the game, because everyone knows work comes before going to Tashi's station to pick up power converters. So we're going to do Moisture Farm a little bit different today because we know what we're farming. But let's chat about what you're specifically going to do, Sarah. What is your tactic to get as close to Revan as possible?
So I have been buying those packs, those $6.99 crystal packs. I am using my Cantina energy right now on mission because my T3 is closer to 7-star than she is.
Yep.
So
I think
I'm
that's wise.
hoping. Thank you. I'm hoping that will.
You're welcome.
That will play out. My goal originally was to get them all to 5-star because I was hoping it would be a legendary.
Enter trombone.
So I was like, if I get... I know.
You guys are better than I am at that.
So, I'm focusing Cantina on her, and then everyone, Zaalbar, Bindo, and Bastila are getting all of my node refreshes. They're all pretty much even. Bastila's in the lead. I need... Oh God, math. 78 shards.
That was pretty fast. I mean, it might not be right, but it was fast.
Yeah.
I think it's right. She's at 22 out of 100. That's 78, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you, guys. Math is hard. So she'll be ready. Everyone else, we'll see. It's going to be a coin toss, I think.
Yeah.
I'm refreshing all of their nodes once a day for the 25 crystals. And then
that has been nice. 25.
Yeah, it has been. It was one of those hints SirG gave us that this was happening. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't been refreshing. I probably should. I haven't been refreshing the ship nodes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself.
I'm thinking I'm going to start, but I don't refresh the ship energy, so I don't know if I should or if I should just, I guess I will.
Well,
I think I just talked myself into it.
If you don't buy ship energy, then you only have enough energy throughout the day, even with the bonus energy, to do like 120 energy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's part of my frustration with ships.
And I don't want to buy...
Wait, you're frustrated with ships? You should tell us about it.
Yeah. I can't justify spending 100 crystals to refresh that energy, and it doesn't even count for like raid tickets or anything. It just goes away.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm adding to SirG's raid for ships.
You did have a deep sigh. Oh, that was a good deep one.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I think if I want Revan, I'm gonna have to just suck it up.
Yep.
No.
Yep. I'm in a similar place. So besides my T3 now being pretty close, I think my game plan, the characters that are low, I'll just farm them as hard as I can. Then maybe 3 or 4 days away from the end, maybe I'll buy some more of the $6.99. Because I think I'm at where I'm going to generate each day from arenas the same amount of crystals I'm spending to farm them. So I'm going to keep my 3,000 I still have saved and wait till close to the end when I know how I need to spend them, which will most likely be on mission.
Yeah.
Are you disciplined enough to do that? It already got to you once today.
It did.
And you got 80 shards out of it. I don't know. Maybe if you did one now, you'd get 80 more.
You know what? Let's do it. I'm going to do one.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Don't do this. You're going to make me want to.
While I load the game, you go ahead and say what you're farming, Faye.
Oh, good. Perfect. All right. I like this. Live on air. I have Basila. She's done. I bought her in shipments right away. That was what I did with my saved up crystals. And Jolie. I didn't get them all the way, but got them up to 5 and 6 stars respectively. So Jolie's 23 away. Zaalbar just got to 6-star. He's at 3 of 100, so should be good there. My main thing will be mission and T3. So T3 is at 45 out of 100, so close as well. But mission's at 7 out of 85 on 5-star. So she's going to be my bugaboo, and I'll probably need to get a 30 pack. So that's why I'm leaving T3 like around 50 left. And then we'll see if because if possible, if I just have to get his and put $15 in instead of 30, that would be beneficial. And it's not that I actually have like a gift card from last Christmas that someone gave me for this game that I still haven't used. So I don't have any problems using the money, but it's just more of a game within itself to see if I can get it free to play or not. I don't think I'll get there.
You're
going to try. Yeah, and like I said, this is from July 5th. This has been my focus. The only sidetrack was the bounty hunters, and they did it perfectly to get me. So I would have been totally fine without that. Now it's borderline. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we loaded up yet?
I got my game up. I've got 3.2 thousand crystals. So I think
drum roll.
I think I can do 2 of them. I think I can justify doing 2 of them.
Boy.
Okay.
I think you can too.
Here's the first one.
I would like sound effects of the thing coming in where it swoops in and the card comes around.
I got 12 Jolie.
All right. You needed that, right?
Yeah, I needed that. Not as much as mission. I haven't gotten any mission yet.
Oh, you haven't.
Okay.
And 12 is better than 10.
Yes.
Yeah, 12 is better than 10. Math.
Okay, I'm at 2,500 crystals left, so I'm going to do one more. Ooh!
Oh, boy. That was a big noise.
I got an 80 of...
What?
Oh, see?
Of what?
I got an 80 of Zaalbar.
Shut up.
Yep, he was very low. Now he's at 6-star with 5 on the way to a 7-star.
What?
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
I feel like you owe me some of those shards somehow. So if you want to,
that's awesome.
Just give me a couple. You let us know.
Everybody, go out now and get yourself some.
This is totally you're tempting everyone that's listening right now to say, "Yeah, I'm going to do that," and they all get 10.
Then I'm going to get a lot of hate mail.
T3.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm done for the night.
Well, congrats. Nicely done. Yeah.
Well done.
Are you though? No, okay, all right. I'll be done with that.
2 weeks from now, we'll do it again.
Yeah, good. Well, you might not need it with those rates.
True. Oh, that's great. I'm happy.
Oh, that was good. What a good ending there. Forget about the shifts. That was some good 80 shards there.
Man.
That was awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, you two.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. As always, this was fun. And next time we chat with you, we'll be chatting about Revan and not only his kit, but how well we did on his events. And only SirG will have him because of his jobs. And it'll be awesome. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. And that'll do it. Until next time, Chewy, we're home.